Hey, I'm Ryan, and welcome to my channel. If you are an artist or a creative and you've got to that point where you are blank, where you've kind of come to a bit of a stop, where you're staring at a kind of blank canvas or a hypothetical blank canvas, maybe it's a blank sketchbook or, a script, or you're looking down a viewfinder and you're seeing nothing. And if something is just not clicking, if something is just not kind of feeling right, you've had it before, you felt the spark, but you've got to this point now where it's just not happening, where you're not feeling it, then it could be this. There's something which I've been thinking about a lot, and like many of these themes, they're very difficult to articulate. They're very difficult to put into words and to put into contexts and metaphors and descriptions which other people can understand. And very often the stuff which I think about, I think everybody else is thinking about, but we just don't take the time to articulate and find the words to do this. But what I'm thinking about is the word value. And it's become really apparent to me how much the word value is just kind of stumbling people. It's just kind of paralyzing people. We kind of look at our setups, we look at our work, we look at the stuff that we're trying to do, and before we're going to go anywhere, before we go in there, we've got this niggling feeling in the back of our heads, this subconscious kind of irk that there has to be some sort of value conversation in our head around what we're doing. What is the value that I'm going to get out of doing this work? What is the value that this work is going to be worth? Will it be valued by other people? Am I trying to kind of use this thing to sustain myself? Do I find myself in a situation where I'm forced to turn this thing into monetary value to sustain myself? Is that what it is? Is it that tension? Because if we're at that point where we're trying to engage with our deeper intuition, with our deeper instincts for creativity, we're trying to kind of go into that space where we want to allow ourselves to play, to allow ourselves to discover, to explore, to create, to do all of those things. But there's this niggling feeling going on in our subconscious that this also has to be valued, that this has to kind of sustain or have or hold or carry some sort of value in the real world. And if we look at kids playing in a playground, if we look at the way that kids explore, right, it's free-flowing, free-form exploration. They may be breaking stuff, they may be injuring themselves. They're testing the world, they're testing their boundaries, they're just working it out. They're trying to build a 3, 4, 5-dimensional picture of the world and their experience so that they can understand where they live in it and how they're going to exist within the world. And this is exploration, and you can't put a value on that. You can't look at kids and go, this is worth this process of exploration, this process of looking, seeing, creating, exploring, testing, pushing. We can't look at that and put a value on that. So why does it come to us when we become big kids that somehow there's this moment when culture tells us that suddenly we have to put a value on our exploration? We have to put our value on that deeper creative exploration. So I think this is the tension. This is something which comes up a lot amongst all the other things which kind of block us these days. But this is a big thing. It's a big subconscious messaging that we have. It's a value system. It's a belief system which we have ingrained in us in adulthood, that what we do has to be monetized, that it has to be exchanged for value, that it has to be exchanged for something. So when we're sitting in that space looking at our hypothetical blank canvas, when we're trying to kind of come up with the magic, we've got this niggling feeling that it has to be valued. And that's simply bullshit. It doesn't work. All of these things, all of these pots and paints and canvases and whatever, this is all kind of putting the pressure on that this has to create some sort of value. This return on investment has to happen. And it can't. It can't always be that. So this is a tension which gets us every time, over and over again. We simply can't go in to that deep space of exploration and hold this conversation of value simultaneously. It simply doesn't allow for that free-flowing exploration to happen. This is an ongoing thing, and I'm trying to find the words, I'm trying to find ways to articulate how this thing that I'm calling deep creativity manifests itself in the world, and how culture and how the worlds and the constructs that we live within now, they're constantly defeating our ability to go deep. It's constantly suppressing that ability to go deep and to let go and to just go into free flow creation. Anyway, I've started something. I'm a little bit excited about it. I started an ebook. I'm not quite there yet. I think I've got it together. It's going to be a version. I'm going to release it very, very soon, and I'd love you to have it. It's going to be free. So look out for that, and I hope this was helpful. Okay.